Hi everyone, thank you for listening and watching my video about the best and worst traits of each of the 12 zodiac signs. Keep in mind that each zodiac sign has their good and bad traits based on your perspective or your own perception, and this is my perception or my perspective. Okay, so if you would like your own reading from me, because I am a psychic tarot reader as well as an astrologer, you can check out my website lamarrtownsendtarot.com. However, while I'm here, I am doing live psychic tarot readings while I am doing this live about this topic. So if you would like a live reading, you can donate to my super chat or my PayPal. The link to the PayPal is in the description box in the chat box. And I do prefer PayPal. Anywhere between $5 to $10 is one question, $20 is two questions, $30 is three questions, so on and so forth. So let's get into it. The best and worst traits of each zodiac sign. So let's start with Aries. Aries is a fire sign, okay? And Aries are, their best trait is that they're very bold, they tend to be very fun, and they're trendsetters, they're trailblazers because of their boldness and their bravery, right? Hey, Scorp444, how are you? Yeah, make sure you guys like the video as you guys come in. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever it is, or whatever time it is where you are, okay? It's pretty early where I am. Now, the bad traits about Scorpio, the worst traits about a Scorpio, is that they tend to be quite immature and insensitive to other people's feelings, okay? And, I will say in Aries' defense that, they aren't always insensitive by choice. Sometimes they don't know they're being insensitive, but, that comes with, the territory of being an Aries. Sometimes you step on people's toes. It is what it is. Next is Taurus. Taurus are, they're an earth sign, okay, ruled by Venus. So Tauruses tend to be very dedicated, and I find that Tauruses have hearts of gold. You're doing good, Scorp444, that's good. Tauruses have hearts of gold. All right, Tauruses are good people, good-natured people who are pretty easy to get along with. All right, now their worst traits are that they can be very stubborn and uncompromising, and they can also be very, very possessive in relationships. Okay, honey, if you are a Taurus's boyfriend or girlfriend, or even friend, you are Taurus's boyfriend, girlfriend, or friend, and theirs only. All right. Gemini. All right, Gemini is an air sign ruled by Mercury. Okay, it's 9:40 p.m. here in Sydney, Australia. Oh, that's interesting. It's 5:40 p.m. here in Virginia, so that's interesting. All right, Gemini. Geminis are very adaptable and lighthearted. They're an air sign, and Mercury tends to be very adaptable and lighthearted, right? Geminis are very easy breezy. They're very, they're good communicators, so you can always find something to talk to a Gemini with. Now, the bad traits about Geminis is that they can sometimes be very flighty. They can be, quite unpredictable. In relationships, they can be unpredictable in general. You never know what a Gemini is going to say. You never know quite what a Gemini is going to do, for that matter. So, but some people enjoy that aspect of Gemini. Some people don't. It really depends, once again, on your perspective, right? Cancers. Cancers tend to be very nurturing. Some of their best traits is they're very nurturing. They're very understanding people. When a Cancer says, I understand, 9 times out of 10, a Cancer really does understand, how you feel or what you're saying, whatever the circumstances is calling for, right? Or the circumstances calling for. Now, that's interesting to note, because when people say, I understand, they don't always understand. But a Cancer, understands because they're very sympathetic. They're very compassionate people who, feel very deeply. Hey, Booski. Oh, did you get your reading, Booski? Booski got a reading for me a couple days ago. Now, the worst traits of Cancers is that they can be very moody. All right. Their emotions go up and down, kind of like the moon, the tides of the moon, all right, or the tides of the ocean according to the moon, because Cancer is ruled by the moon. It's a water sign ruled by the moon, right? Yes, it was great. Thank you, Mary. You're so on point. Thank you, Mary. Now, one other thing that I find, Cancers, is that they're very, very sensitive. They can be sometimes too sensitive. Like sometimes, you can hurt a Cancer's feelings and not realize you hurt their feelings. Sometimes they can be very uncommunicative as well. Like, so when you hurt their feelings, they won't let you know that you hurt your feelings. They'll just kind of act indifferent towards you, or they'll act cold, or they'll kind of pull away from you, leaving you feeling abandoned and somewhere confused. So, good morning, Mark. Good morning, Brach. Next, we have Leos. Now, Leos is one of my favorite fire signs. Okay, Leo is a fire sign actually ruled by the sun. So, it's interesting that Cancer is ruled by the moon, Leo is ruled by the sun, right? Now, one of the are some of the great traits about Leos is that they're very generous. All right, they're very genuine people. Okay, like a compliment from a Leo is a very, 9 times out of 10, a very genuine compliment. They won't say something unless they believe it, you know what I'm saying? They're also very friendly people. Leos are very, very friendly, great with children, you know what I'm saying? And, because Leo, the sun rules childhood and also our relationships with children. Even if they don't have children of their own, sometimes they can be like one of the children, like they just have this inner child in them that is always wanting to break free, and I love that about them. Now, some of the worst traits about a Leo is that they can be very self-absorbed. All right, let's keep it real. Oh, you're getting ready for school, Kaylee? Have a good day at school. They can be very egotistical, Leos, all right? And Leos like sometimes, to have the attention on them. So Leos are the types of people who can sometimes thwart attention away from people just for the sake of it, or just because they want attention, something like that. They can be very attention-seeking sometimes. All right, next we have Virgos. Virgos are an earth sign ruled by Mercury as well, so kind of like Gemini, but Virgos tend to be very wise people. They tend to be very organized people as well. Not necessarily, with practical things, but sometimes they can be very organized in their minds. They can just be very organized people. They live their life in organized ways. They are good with routines. So Virgos are very, very practical kind of people. All right. Now, some of the worst traits about Virgos is that they can be overthinkers. All right. And that's that Mercury energy. Mercury can be very, very kind of overactive, especially when it comes to the mental, right? And they can also be worriers. All right. Virgos can be like heavy, heavy worriers, like worrying over things that are insignificant or worrying over things that they literally can't control, So next we have Libras. All right. One of the best traits, Libras, an air sign ruled by Venus. Have you spoken on Aries yet? Yes, we spoke on Aries in the beginning of the video, so you can either do a playback or just wait until I get off, which will be soon because I'm almost finished, right? So next we have Libra. Libra is an air sign ruled by Venus. So Libras are very fair. These are the best traits about them. They're very fair, okay? They're very easygoing, easy to communicate with, easy to get along with kind of people. And they're very peaceful. They're very harmonious. Libras are the types of people who are very non-confrontational. So they don't like confrontation. If they have an issue with you, they'll pull you aside and say, hey, what's the deal? They're those kind of people. People with tact, right, for the most part. Hey, Shay. Good morning, everyone, or good evening, good night, at whatever time it is where you are. Now, the worst traits about Libras, and I'm a Capricorn Sun, Libra Moon. Libras can be very indecisive, all right? They can be very fickle, all right? And sometimes Libras can overshare, all right? They can overshare their own information or they can overshare other people's information, all right? Sometimes Libras spill the tea without meaning to spill it, all right? So Scorpio. Scorpio is one of my favorite signs, maybe because I'm a Venus and Scorpio, but all right, Scorpio, one of their best traits is that they're very discerning. Scorpios have good sense of discernment. Hi, I am Hope. Scorpios have amazing sense of discernment. They can, figure someone out, figure a situation out in within seconds, minutes, hours of, being introduced to it or to them, right? Scorpios are also very intuitive, okay? They're also very passionate. Scorpios are very, very passionate. And they're also very bold. Now, let's keep in mind that Scorpio is also a water sign ruled by both Pluto and Mars. So that Mars element gives, Scorpio that boldness that they have, right? Oh, you're a Libra moon too, Shay. I overshare all the time and I don't mean to. I'm a Libra, exactly. I know it's a Libra thing. Now, Scorpios, all right, their worst traits is that they can be very manipulative, all right, especially emotionally manipulative. They can be very vindictive as well. If you hurt a Scorpio's feelings, watch out, all right? They can come back and sting you, all right? And it's typically not a pretty sight, all right? And Scorpios can be a bit jealous, all right, in relationships, kind of like their polar opposites of the zodiac sign Taurus, who can be possessive in relationships, right? That can stem from jealousy. All right, we're almost done, you guys. Interesting as I'm a Scorpio moon. Yes. Next, we have Sagittarius. That is so true. Yes, Mary. Next, we have Sagittarius. Sagittarius is their best traits. They tend to be very open-minded people and very fun people, adventurous, all right? And, you know, people who aren't judgmental. You know, a Sagittarius is the type of person who will talk to anyone or have a conversation with anyone about anything. You know, there's no limits sometimes with Sagittarius. On that same note, though, one of their worst traits is that they can have no filter, all right? And that can come through as being sometimes very blunt and straightforward, almost to a point of being insensitive, right? Sagittarius can also be very opinionated, and that's that Jupiter energy, you know, because Jupiter rules our personal philosophies, our belief systems. It rules philosophy. Sagittarius is as well, you know, I find can be very restless. So Sagittarius is the types of people who always have to be doing something. You know, they can never just sit down. You know, they always have to kind of get the last word in sometimes, you know, like that's a Sag, you know, highly opinionated. Yes. Oh my God, my mom is just that. Yes, Booski. All right, next we have Capricorn. All right, Capricorn is some of their best traits is they're very hardworking, they're very independent, and they're very reliable. All right, and they tend to be very consistent as well. You know, if a Capricorn isn't consistent or isn't reliable, there's probably something wrong, or they may just be exhibiting some of their, you know, inferior traits or their dark-sided traits, which is a different topic. Now, on the same frame, a Capricorn can be very controlling, all right, as one of their worst traits. Remember, Capricorn is an earth sign ruled by Saturn. Saturn rules restrictions, okay? So Capricorn can be the types of person who puts a lot of restrictions on you or the relationship that you have with them. They can also be very unapproachable, all right, and cold, all right? So you never can really figure out what a Capricorn is feeling, you know, like, you know, because Capricorn's the type of person who they can be very bubbly and lively today, but tomorrow they don't want to talk, you know, and, you know, you can approach them today and, you know, they're lively, they're fun, but tomorrow, you know, they're unapproachable. Tomorrow, it's like, you know, it's like they don't know you at all. You know, like Capricorns are those types of people who they're hard to read. And that's also can be, you know, a difficult trait to deal with. Just a little aloof. Exactly. Shay says, I love Sagittarius and how blunt they are, but very kind people. I have Sagittarius. Yes, they are. Hey, Brittany. All right, we're almost at the end of the list, you guys. Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius is some of their best traits is that they're very compassionate. Aquariuses tend to be humanitarians who's always sticking up for the underdog, always sticking up for the people. You know, and they're very friendly people. You know, but Aquariuses can also be very emotionally detached. All right. So it can be hard to get emotion out of an Aquarius. You know, Aquariuses can be very kind of deadpan. A lot of times, kind of like Capricorn, because Aquarius is also co-ruled by Capricorn, mainly ruled by Uranus. All right. And Aquarius can also be very aloof. All right. Kind of like Capricorn as well. You know, hard to read, not always the most friendly, you know, just kind of cool, you know, go along to get along kind of people. Right. But don't want you to get too close, you know, all the time. Well, actually, most of the time. All right. All right. Lastly, we have Pisces. Pisces are very gentle people, a water sign. Okay. Aquarius is an air sign. Pisces is a water sign who are, you know, they tend to be very gentle people, gentle creatures, very kind people, very, very much approachable as opposed to Aquarius and Capricorn. All right. You know, Pisces are very much approachable, you know, people who are daydreamers, you know, they're very creative, you know, they are people who with very vivid imaginations, right? But some of Pisces' worst traits is that they're escapists. All right. So Pisces are people who like to escape all the time from their problems or the real world, you know, whether it's through drugs, alcohol, sex, food, all right, TV, you know, whatever their situation is. They can also be procrastinators, okay? Pisces can be procrastinators, you know, people who put things off, you know, just because they can be so focused on, you know, their inner world, you know, and other things, you know, the life they really want to live versus the life they're currently living, you know, that kind of situation. And Pisces can also be people who can play victim a lot of the times. You know, they're very passive people, you know, so, you know, they aren't like, you know, for example, Mars energy, which is very, you know, kind of not passive. Okay. It's very like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Self-assertive. Pisces are crybabies. Well, that's a good way to look at it. I hope I did not miss the Gemini. We did do Gemini. Am I triple curse though? Capricorn, Sun, Scorpio, Moon, Venus, and Aquarius. I mean, if that's how you look at it, you know. So me, sometimes hard to hear. Yes. So that was the zodiac signs and the best and worst traits of them. All right. Yes, I don't think you're cursed. All right. But it's your perception. If you think you are, then you will be. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me on this live. I appreciate you guys. If you want your own personal reading from me, remember, check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. I would love to read for you. I do astrology birth chart readings as well as psychic tarot readings, okay? So love you guys. Catch you in the next live and be blessed.